The first time Emily told me she'd be working late, I didn't think much of it. We both had high-stress careers, hers in marketing, mine in finance, and long hours had always been part of our routine. Our relationship had quietly adapted to the grind, letting late dinners and unspoken exhaustion replace affection and spontaneity. So I didn't flinch when she came home tired, or when she skipped date nights with vague apologies. But the third, then fourth night of late meetings started to chip away at something I hadn't realized was fragile. Emily had begun dressing differently, a little more effort. Heels instead of flats, bolder lipstick, perfume that lingered. Long after she'd left, the changes were subtle, almost imperceptible if I hadn't been paying attention. But once I noticed, I couldn't unsee them. I kept telling myself I was imagining things, projecting insecurities. I trusted her. We'd been married 10 years, built a life brick by brick, mortgage, vacations, long talks about kids, even adopted a dog we both adored. But doubt is a slow poison. It seeps in quietly, until everything you once felt secure in starts to wobble. One evening, over a dinner heavy with silence, I tried to ease into the conversation. "Work been keeping you busy lately?" I asked, as casually as I could. She looked up, her face unreadable. "Yeah," she said. "Big campaign. A lot of pressure." Her answer was precise. Too precise, like she'd rehearsed it. I nodded, letting it drop, not wanting to sound accusatory. But my gut had already clenched. That night, her phone buzzed on the nightstand while she was in the shower. I glanced at it out of reflex. A message preview flashed across the screen. "Stacy, tonight was amazing. I can't wait to see you again." My breath caught. Stacy was one of Emily's closest friends, who lived hundreds of miles away. That text felt like a knife sliding under the skin. I could have confronted her right then, but I didn't. I needed clarity, not an argument. I needed to be sure. Over the next few days, I played detective in silence. I called her office under the pretense of inviting her out for lunch. Her secretary told me she was out for meetings. Each time, I drove past her building once or twice. Her car was never there, and with every confirmation, a part of me cracked further. Then came Thursday. She claimed she'd be staying late again. I waited an hour after she left, then drove to her office, already knowing what I wouldn't find. Her car was gone. Not even a trace. That night, I logged into our shared phone account. I scanned her call logs and messages. There it was, a number that repeated like a pulse, dozens of times a day. Not a name I recognized. I dialed it from a burner phone, my hand trembling. A man answered. Cheerful, warm. "Hey babe," he said, like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Missing me already?" I didn't say a word. I let the silence stretch until it made him uncomfortable. Then I hung up. My world collapsed in that moment. I spent the night in a daze, replaying every year of our marriage like a broken reel. The laughter, the promises, the whispered dreams. How many of them had been lies? The next morning, I called a private investigator, a contact from a client, a discreet professional with a reputation for results. It didn't take long. Within days, I had everything I needed. Emily wasn't just cheating. She had built a parallel life. Romantic weekends disguised as work trips. Long lunches that ended in someone else's sheets. Her lover's name was David. Colleague, smug, unmarried. She thought she was untouchable. She thought I'd never know. But I did, and I wasn't about to scream or break dishes. That wasn't my kind of revenge. I wanted precision. I wanted her to feel what betrayal truly costs. I gathered everything: photos, audio recordings, text threads, evidence so airtight it could crush steel. I sat on it for 2 days, breathing, planning. Then I knocked on David's door. He opened it, wearing confusion like a mask. His face went pale the second he realized who I was. "Can I help you?" he asked. "Yeah," I said coolly. "You can start by answering a few questions." I stepped inside. Emily was on the couch. She froze. Like a deer, her mouth opened, but nothing came out. "You said you were working late," I said calmly. "But here you are, playing house in someone else's living room." David stammered. I didn't know she was married." I stepped toward him, my voice cutting. "You knew. You just didn't care." Emily finally found her voice, a breathless whisper. "Can we talk about this at home?" There's no we, Emily, I said, dropping an envelope onto their table. It spilled open photos of them in bed, screenshots of texts, even the transcript of a call. Her hand trembled as she reached for it. What are you going to do?" she asked, crying now. "I've already filed," I said. "The divorces. In motion. Keep your boyfriend. But you'll lose everything else." David turned a sickly shade of white. "Best of luck with HR," I added. "They tend to take a hard line on office affairs." And then I walked out. The divorce was clean. Fast, strategic. I kept the house, the car, the accounts, even the dog. David lost his job after a quiet tip landed on HR's desk. Emily's reputation, ruined. She moved into a cramped apartment, friends distancing themselves one by one. The image she'd built for herself cracked and splintered. The first weekend after it was all finalized, I flew somewhere warm, far from the wreckage. I sat at a beach bar, drink in hand, the sunlight hitting my face like a blessing I'd forgotten how to receive. That's when it hit me. I was free, not just from her lies, but from the years I spent shrinking myself to keep our life intact. She shattered it, but in doing so, she handed me the freedom to rebuild from the ground up. And last I heard, their little romance didn't survive the glare of real life. David relocated. Emily moved back in with her parents. The destruction they caused finally caught up with them. Me? I'm still here, still standing, stronger, smarter, unburdened. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't fire or fury. It's survival. It's thriving. It's living so well they have to squint to see you.